Hello and welcome to In a Minute. These are simple drawing exercises that you could do on a daily basis. We're going to be drawing a window today, and these exercises are very simple. You should be able to draw them in a minute, so you might not be able to do that at first, but through repetition you'll be able to draw a window. Okay? We are going to do this with the concept of these ideas. You're here to train your hand muscles. You're here to listen to the sequence of the commands. You're here to memorize the shortcut key commands. That's the important thing here. And at the end of this lesson, you will be able to draw a window in a minute. So these are the simple windows that we're going to be drawing. And in this case, we're going to draw a 3-foot wide window by 3-foot high window. And we're going to be drawing this window. This window is called a single hung window, or it could be called a double hung. So if you wanted to know the name for this kind of window, and then this window is called a slider, because this part of the window slides. Okay, in this scenario, a single hung, one of these portions will slide, and that would slide as a single pane. A double hung would mean that the upper part slides down and the lower part slides up. That makes it double hung. Okay, so let's draw a window. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a window, and we're going to, first of all, watch me draw this window real quick, okay? And you could see a sequence and understand it a little bit further once we get into it. So draw that. There. I drew my window in less than a minute. Alright, and you should be able to do that too. Once you understand this window here. Okay, so that is what we're drawing. We're drawing a single hung window. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do, and I want to draw this in two styles, two ways. We're going to use a command line, and we're also going to use the command rectangle. Okay. The two shortcuts for these are L and REC. So start to remember these. L and REC are the shortcut commands for these. Alright? Okay. So when we start with the line command, let's do that one first. We're going to be building a window that is 3 feet wide by 3 foot high. Okay? So as we remember your XY coordinates, we all know that, right? In math. XY, X in the right direction is positive, Y in the up, Y going up is positive. And we always start at 0, 0 as the origin. And we're going to always say bottom left hand corner is the origin point. Okay, so always keep that as your basis. This bottom left hand corner is always going to be 0, 0. So when you're creating this line command, you're going to think about it starting here, going to the left, moving up. I'm sorry, bottom left hand corner, going to the right, going up, moving to the left, coming back down. So what we do is we type L. Okay, move your mouse around, make sure you have your cursor. I could see your cursor. Okay, push this to the side. Okay, so you're going to type L, press the space bar, and you're going to left click anywhere on the screen. Let's click about right here. Okay, and I'm going to move my mouse to the right and type 3 feet. The foot is right next to the enter key. Okay, so moving that. Let's try it again. Line, click, 3 feet. Okay, space bar. Now make sure that you've moved your mouse to the right far enough so you've passed 3 feet. Now move your mouse up, type 3 feet. Okay, move your mouse to the left, type 3 feet. Move your mouse down and type 3 feet. And when you're done with the command, we've made our square. You press the space bar one more time to exit the command. There's your 3-foot square. Okay. Now move your mouse to the middle and scroll in using your scroll wheel on your mouse. Alright. And I want you to use the command offset. Right. I'll write it here. Offset. What offset is taking a line, copying it, and moving it in either the right side or the left side with a distance. So let's say I want to offset this line 2 inches to the right or 2 inches to the left. Okay, I'm going to offset this to the left by 2 inches, so I'm going to type O, press the space bar, and then type 2 and press the space bar. Okay, then your cursor turns into a square. You move your mouse over the line you want to offset. So I'm going to click this, left click it. Okay, it'll highlight, and if I move my mouse to the left or right, you could see the line offsetting. Right? So when I move my mouse to the left of the line, the cursor, I'm gonna left click it once I see that line on that side. Make sure you've moved your mouse far away, left click, and it's put another line on the left. by 2 inches. Okay. We're going to do that to these other lines as well. So now that you're in the command, you're going to move your mouse to the top line, click it, left click. Okay. Now drag your mouse down. You see that? I move it up, it's above the line. I move my mouse down, it's below the line. And it's moving it by 2 inches, since that's the default. Click anywhere on the screen. Okay. Now you move your mouse to the left, to this line. Click it, left click. Move your mouse to the right, move your mouse to the left. You can see the line. Right? And exaggerate that. Move your mouse all the way to the right here so you could see that. Move your mouse all the way to the left here. So I want it on the right. So I move my mouse to the right and then I left click. And the final one at the bottom, click it, left click, move your mouse up. Move your mouse up, move it down, up, down. Okay, it's going on the top. There you go. Now you're going to press the space bar one more time to get out of the command. Okay. Now we're going to need to remove these lines. So there's just that inside square, correct? Okay. So that other command you're going to learn is trim. Okay. Trim trims lines like a scissors. You're trimming something off. And the shortcut is TR. So let's remember TR. Now I'm going to show you a really smart trick here, a shortcut trick. You're going to type TR, press the space bar. Okay. And it's going to ask you to select objects. So we're going to select objects. But since I'm going to want to trim all of these at once, use all these lines as trim lines. I'm going to press the spacebar one more time so I select all of them as trim lines. And now I can move my mouse towards the lines and I'm going to click these. And since everything's a trim line, I can click that and it'll trim it off using this line to trim that line off. Okay, so you just click these, scroll out, scroll in here, scroll, trim, scroll in here, and trim these. Okay. Let me do that one more time. So trim is a TR command, and you're going to type TR spacebar and spacebar pressed one more time. So TR spacebar spacebar. Now you just go to the lines you want to remove. I don't want this line. I don't want this line. I don't want this line, or this, or this, or this, or this, or this. Press the spacebar when you're done. So I see my cursor again. Okay, now you're going to draw the middle line, and you should have your snaps on, right? So snaps snap to points on your drawing where it's the end point of a line. If I click this line, you see these little dots. I have an end point, a midpoint, and an end point. These are your snap points. That's what a line contains. So I want to make sure you have your snaps on. So want you to just type osnap, and I just want you to memorize that word, osnap. Okay, osnap. Yeah. So type osnap spacebar. So this should pop up. Yeah. So one thing you need to remember is this: F3 is your shortcut key for a snap that turns it on and off. So remember F3. F3 is a function on your keyboard at the top. For here, you want to just check this to make sure it's on, and clear this. Okay, and make sure what's on is your endpoint and your midpoint. So for now, for this exercise, I want you to, if you see a button that says clear all, click that, left click it, then come back here and type E, press E and M. Okay. And then OK. So your snap should be on, and we're going to snap to the midpoint of this. Right, so if I'm going to do another line command, I'm going to type L spacebar, and I'm going to move to my line. And if I'm close to one of the points, it'll show up as one of the points it'll snap to. So because I'm moving my line here, right, it's showing me the triangle, which means midpoint. If I move closer to the edge, it's going to show me an endpoint line as a square. So if I move to my line, I see the triangle and I click, it'll snap to, it should snap to that midpoint there. Right, so you don't have to go to the middle of the line to make a midpoint. You could just move your line once you see it, the triangle, and remember the triangle is midpoint. So once you see the triangle, you can click and it'll snap to that. See? Like a magnet. And then you move your mouse here, and since you know that it's a square, the midpoint is once again triangle. See, my mouse could be right here and I could go right there and I see the triangle and I'll just click it and it'll snap to that. And then press the spacebar one more time to exit. Okay, and then now what? You're going to offset this line 2 inches up. Alright, so O spacebar. Okay, and AutoCAD remembers your commands from before, so we offset it 2 inches on the first time and it'll remember that, so you don't need to type 2 inches again, you just press the spacebar. And then you click the line and you move it up. Move your mouse up. See, if I move it down, it's going below it. If I move it up, and I don't have to be in the window, in this window. I can move my mouse here and it'll still do it. Right, so I move it up. Once I see it in the right place, I left click and then I press the spacebar to exit. Now I want to trim these lines, right? So I'm going to use all these lines as trim command. Trim lines. So what do? I type TR and I press the spacebar twice. So TR 1 2. Just press the spacebar twice to tell me that I'm using the trim commands, the trim lines for all of these at the same time. Right, now I'm going to click what I don't want. So I'm going to click that. I don't want that one, right? And I don't want this one because I want to see this as a full frame. So I don't want that, and I don't want that. Okay. Press enter to get out. And now I'm going to show you a faster trick once again on this trim command, and that is a window selection. So if I move my mouse here, right, if I move it to the left, either up or down, you see that it's green, and if I move it this way, it's another color. So in going to the left means I will be able to select everything that is in this colored square. Okay, if I move it this way, it would have to be within this shape to select it. So if I move this, right, if I left click the screen and I start seeing this square, and I move my mouse and I see that, and you see that color, if it's going over the lines I want to select, it'll select it, right? Once again, I left click the screen, I press, to get out of a command, you press the escape button, which is all the way at the top of your keyboard. Escape is to escape any command that you want to get out of. Even if you're in the middle of the command, you're like, I want to start all over, press escape. Okay, and make sure you see your cursor. So once again, if I left click the screen and I see the box, that colored box, green box, and I move my mouse over a specific area, like, okay, these two lines, it'll highlight those two lines once I left click it again. Right? Press escape. Now, if I go the other direction, I see this other color, and I left click, you see how it doesn't select it. Like, hey, how come it's not selecting? I need to be, since this line is this long and this line is this long, I need to make my window that big. So it'll select a full line, meaning that's its own piece, that's its own piece, right? This is its own piece, and that is its own piece. So if I make a window like this, I will only be able to select the two lines on the right, because I've encapsulated that whole thing in this rectangle. So those are the two ways to select. Faster way than clicking over the line, clicking over the line, right? It's easier to select than, it's easier to highlight select versus going over a line and clicking. Okay, so I'll show you it right now. TR. See how quick that was? Learn some tricks here, make you faster. Alright, so I'm going to do that again. TR, enter, enter. Now I'm just going to scroll in here. Right, move your mouse to around here, scroll up. Now I'm going to click the screen to make, so I could see the window selection, right? And I'm going to move it over that line, and I'm going to move it over that line. So you're going to click, click, okay, click over it, click here, click there, click up here, click down here. Press enter to get out of the command so you see your cursor again. And there you have your window. This window is 3 by 3. Okay, and that is using line, offset, trim. And you also learned snap. And you also learned object selection. Object selection options. Okay, so you learned all of those commands. I want you to memorize all those. Right? So your exercises here is, I want you to make So you're going to draw a 2-foot, right that, a 2 foot wide by 3 foot high window. Okay. You're going to draw a 2'6" wide window by 3 feet high window. You're going to once again draw a 3 foot wide by 3 foot high window, and you're going to draw a 3'6" wide by 3 foot high window, and then you're going to draw a 4 foot wide by 3 foot high window. So I want you to practice, repeat, 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 repeat. That's how you're going to memorize these. You're going to understand the sequence. Okay? And you're going to remember these commands. You're going to remember LOTR, osnap. Right? And you should be able to draw a window just like this. Boom. Okay, in less than a minute, you should be able to draw that window just like how I did. Can you do it? Practice, 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 which means repeat, repeat, repeat these exercises. Okay. Now we're going to use the rectangle command. Go get a drink of water, walk around, pause this video, come back, and when you're back, you're going to draw this rectangle, which will be much faster because we are drawing the full rectangle at once instead of drawing lines. Okay, and then in this one, you're going to use once again the coordinates of x, y, making sure that the bottom left hand corner is the origin point. So you're going to start at the bottom left hand corner and you're going to put an x direction and a y direction to make your rectangle. And you're going to use the shift command. Press shift and the number 2, which is the @ symbol. And then when you do your @ symbol, you're going to type the x coordinate with a comma and a y coordinate. And you're going to press the enter key once you're done. Not the space bar, but the enter key. Alright. So REC is the command for rectangle. So type REC, space bar, click anywhere on the screen. Now you're going to type shift, hold shift and the number 2, which shows the @ symbol, and then you're going to type what? 3 feet, comma 3 feet, enter key, boom. Here's your rectangle. We'll do that once again. REC, spacebar, click the screen, shift @ so shift, press the number 2, 3 feet, comma 3 feet, then press the enter key. Alright. And then now you're going to use your offset command. You're going to offset it by 2, right? So let's suppose you just started this new. I want to start off new, so I'm going to offset. I'm going to want to offset this one by, let's say, 1 inch. 1. Okay. So you press 1 and the space bar, and you're going to click the square, and you're going to move it to the inside of the box. So if I move it outside, it goes on the outside of the box. If I move it inside, it'll go inside. So I want you to go inside the box. See that? So stay inside and then click, left click. So now you see it inside the box. Press enter one more time to get out of the command. Now I'm going to use my line command to draw my line in the middle, right? And I want to make sure my snaps are on, so I type osnap. I see that it's on, it's checked, and I see EM is checked, so that's good. So I type L, enter, and I'm going to move to the outside of this line, and once I see a triangle, I can left click. It'll snap to that midpoint, and I move my line this side. Once I see the triangle, I need to be close to the line for it to find it, right? So move a little bit near the line. You don't have to go to the middle, just move near the line. So see how if I'm moving more close to the end, it'll snap to that point. Move to the middle, move closer to the middle, then left click, then space bar. Press the space bar when you're done. Now you're going to offset that 1 inch on the upper part of the line. So O, enter. Yes, we've already used the 1 inch in the other previous command, so you press spacebar one more time for enter. Click the line and move up in the screen. Right? If I move up, it's going above it. If I'm moving down, it's below it, below the line. So I want to go above the line. Click anywhere on the screen. And one thing to know is when you're doing this, you want to be away from any of the shapes so you don't accidentally snap on something. Okay, so make sure you're away from anything in the dark. Move your mouse in the dark, in the blank areas. Okay, now you press enter one more time to get out of the command, and I see my cursor. Now you're going to use the trim command using the double enter spacebar, right, to take these two lines out. So TR, enter, enter, and that makes everything a trim line. And then I'm going to highlight select these by clicking in this blank area and moving to the left and moving over the line, right? Clicking here and moving to the left over just the line you want to trim. So you always move in the left direction, up or down, right? Click anywhere in the screen, and I'm going left, up, click, right? Click here in the blank area, and I'm moving left, down, right? Now trim those two. And there's your 3 foot by 3 foot window using rectangle. So it's much faster, and I'm giving you two options to draw, which as you begin to draw, whichever you feel like using, you can use. That's the beauty of Autocad. You have options, just like life, right? So sometimes you might want to just draw a rectangle, sometimes you might want to draw a line, depending on the scenario that you're in. So in this rectangle, you should be able to draw it pretty quickly. within a minute. There you go. Can you draw that in a minute? So once again, you're going to draw all these side windows using the rectangle command and go through that exercise once again. So draw a 2 foot, 2 foot 6, 3 foot, 3 foot 6, and a 4 foot window. Alright. And when you're done, you're going to use the rotate command which the shortcut is RO. Okay, so remember that one, RO, rotate, to make a slider window. And all you do is type RO spacebar. Now you're going to highlight, window select this whole thing. So make sure you are selecting everything, right? You left click the screen anywhere in the blank area. You move your mouse over the whole thing. The color has to wrap the whole color, all the lines. Then you left click, then it highlights, right? So now everything is selected. You press the space bar to see your cursor again. You move to the middle till you see midpoint again. When you see the triangle, click it, left click, and then you move your mouse down to rotate it. Right? You're moving your mouse down. Now I have my ortho snaps on too, because it's not, see how it doesn't do that, right? And this is obviously, when you're doing architecture, a lot of everything is in the 0 or the 90. My snaps, my ortho is on. So if you've been doing this exercise and going, oh, how come I can just simply go from 0 to 90 from horizontal to vertical, it's because I have my ortho snap on. So your ortho snap is, a shortcut is F8. So I want you to remember F8 function. So you're going to, I think on the new keyboards, you have to press Control and F8 to turn it on. Okay. And if you're in an updated Autocad, you should see your functions all the way down here, and that's the first one here, so F8. So if you see it highlighted, then it's on, right? If it's not highlighted, if you look at that, you see how it turns off? It's off. And now if I press Control F8 on the keyboard, it turns on. Okay, so make sure that is on, and take notes on that. F8 on your keyboard is your ortho. Ortho. On off. Alright. So RO for rotate, spacebar, highlight it. In either way, this way or this way if you wanted to. As long as you make a box around the whole thing and cover it all. Press enter, click the middle, move your mouse down to rotate it. You can either move it down or up. See how I'm moving all the way up or all the way down. And click it. Click the screen when you're done and it'll rotate it. Okay, so that's a simple way of drawing the slider. If you want to, and I think you should, draw it by hand. Start instead of making these horizontal lines, you're going to draw vertical lines, and that would be a good exercise for you to do. But you could also do it with the rotate to simplify your life. And I would suggest to do this rotate once you get the hang of drawing these inline and rectangle. Right? Because you could easily draw a slider very quickly in a minute. And you should be able to do that. Right? And oh, I want this to be a hung window instead. Right? So there you go. You've learned to draw a window. Thanks for watching. Please repeat to get better. And trust me, this is the best way to learn AutoCAD. I've done it for many years and had great success keeping things simple. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again. This is AutoCAD in action. See you later.